Hi, Gary here. Recently I attended a wake with my wife, and these are always difficult events. You walk in, people are milling around, not sure what to say. This case, it was a widow, and she was very nervous and chatty, and you could tell that she was just struck by this whole situation. It was really difficult. And so we walked up, and her husband was laying there, and we were introduced to her husband. And basically, my wife was standing back a ways, and I didn't think much about it, and we were there for a little bit, and then we left. And as we're walking down the stairs going out of the funeral home, my wife says, "My father better be cremated." And she's on the phone even before we get into the car, calling him and saying, "What's happening?" He says, "Oh, definitely I'm being cremated." I was really shocked by the visceral reaction that she had to this gentleman who was in the coffin. But that's the way with some of these very traumatic events in our lives, the physicality of things. And I just can't imagine the widowhood starting for this particular woman with all those other things in place. And so, death is that ultimate transition. And we have many in our lives, when we finish school and we get married and we have children, we go through maybe major health scares and retirement, and then ultimately this transition for death. And it's just there's a lot going on in our lives, and each time this happens it's different. But money's always present. It's there to take care of things in our life, and when our life events occur, then it also affects our money in a variety of different ways, and these two are interchangeable, and you can't really get away from either one of them. Now, there was a client of mine, Lynn. Her husband was age 48 when he died from cancer. He was a great husband, a really great father to their two adult children, and it really left a big hole in these three women's heart when he left. And when she came in to see me, she had gone to a couple of advisors who said she had to do lots of things right away, and it really was extremely difficult for her. We know that the stress level in her body, cortisol, goes up significantly, and simple cognitive tasks are extremely difficult to do. So we've been trained very well by Ed Coyle, and he basically said, look, only take care of the urgent and important things up front. Help people get through the transition. And basically that's what we said to her. You only have to do those things that are really important and urgent right now, nothing else. And it really watched her physically just relax and calmly take a big sigh and a relief for her, because she didn't feel like she had to do all these major money things. Lots of stuff going on with employee benefits and all these other areas. Now, these transitions last for several years, some longer than others, and we have the money always, present in all of that. But really, a lot of it is about the relationships. We find that people, when they can connect and get the relationships going, it really makes a difference. There's another fellow named Bill. Bill was at his retirement party. They needed some provisions. He went over to the store to buy some more alcohol, pulled into the parking lot, put his car in park, turned off the ignition, had a massive heart attack and died. Now, his wife and I, we had met 2 times before this happened. We could tell he was very, very nervous. Now, he was 60 years old, mandatory retirement as a pilot. And we had talked about he just didn't seem like he was ready. And probably should have had him really gone for some therapy or something. Maybe it would have saved his life, maybe not. But the point that came out of it was this gentleman, like many others who were looking at retirement, needed a couple of years prior to that to see what the heck he was going to do out there. It was really important, I think, for many of us to, when we're looking at seeing these transitions coming, saying, what do I need to do to prepare for that event that's coming up, that I know is coming, because it's going to be a lot different. Now, I can only equate this to myself, and what I find is each time I've gone through a major transition, it's different, because I'm different every time. And one of the things I hear from people all the time is they say, I want to find balance in my life. I hear this a lot when you have a conversation with somebody. I'm looking for balance. They want things to get back to normal. They want some equilibrium to take place. So over the last 20 years, I've read 2 books twice. And each time I think I was in a different place because I got a different meaning out of them. One was Man's Search for Meaning by the famed psychologist and Holocaust survivor a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl. Really a great book, and it's a quick read, but just a great book. The second one is by Napoleon Hill, the quintessential author from the 1920s about success in life and business. And that book just really hits me different times each time. I'll probably read each book again in the future. But what I found was I'm not in the same place each time I read that. And so each time I go through a transition, it's something different for me, as it probably is different for you. And I believe that that's the thing, that when we go through each of these transitions, our money's in a different place, our life is in a different place, and it keeps switching back and forth. I mean, that's the thing that's tough about life. It's never the same. It's always different. And that's something we have to address, or it'll be addressed to us if we want to or not in some of these bad situations I mentioned earlier. But anyway, I want to leave this a little more on a lighter tone. This is kind of a Woody Allen quote, and it says, "It's not that I'm afraid to die, I just don't want to be there when it happens." Anyway, until next time, enjoy.